First of all, you can't protect people. You can only make them strong. That's it. You cannot protect them. You can make them strong, and then they can protect themselves. But then they don't need you.
Hey there, it's Hebyb. I'm diving into chapter 5 of this book, and I've split my understanding into 2 videos. As usual, I've chosen a title for this part based on what I've grasped. So, for this video, I'm calling it Usefully Neglectful Parents. Let's jump right into the video by asking a question.
We extend that overprotection far longer than is helpful. You know, it's hard though, because as I said, when you have resources, you can use them to make your children's lives, let's say, easier. But the question is, like, do you really want to make the life of someone you love easier? And that's an incredibly difficult question.
And yes, this is an incredibly difficult question. To answer it, I'll pose another question. Why are parents nowadays overprotecting their children? There are 3 reasons. Firstly, parents today tend to be older compared to parents in the past. Back in the day, parents were often in their 20s, which allowed them to be a bit more neglectful in a useful way, because they were young enough to have their own lives. But when you're in your 40s and have just one child, you're putting all your eggs in one basket, and taking risks with that precious little one becomes much less likely. Another factor to consider is that in the past, kids often had multiple siblings. This led to a lot of competition among them, which helped toughen them up. But in today's world, parents tend to be older and have more money, so they often give their children every possible advantage and opportunity. Lastly, modern parents often have a deep fear of not being liked by their children anymore. They prioritize their children's friendship above everything else and end up overprotecting them in an attempt to build a naive friendship. Now, all of these reasons make sense, but how does this overprotection destroy the kids?
So I did some of that in 12 Rules for Life. You know, I said, look, what you have to understand is that you're a danger to your children no matter what, right? You can let them go out in the world and be hurt, or you can overprotect them and hurt them that way. So here's your choice. You can make your children competent and courageous, or you can make them safe. But you can't make them safe because life isn't safe. So if you sacrifice their courage and competence on the altar of safety, then you disarm them completely. And all they can do is pray to be protected. The worst thing you can do for someone who's anxious is overprotect them. It makes them worse. The clinical literature on that is crystal clear. What you do for people who are hyper anxious is gradually expose them with their voluntary consent to increasingly threatening situations. That cures them. And the Oedipal mother is the mother that gets too close to her children, right? And intermingles herself with them to too great a degree that in her attempts to protect them undermines them fatally.
You know, I really resonate with the phrase, life is not safe. It's so true when you think about the definition of safe, which means being secure from the threat of danger, harm, or loss. So if you do not lose something, you are safe. But does this world work like this? Nope, not at all. I lost my father when I was just 26, and that experience really drove home the fact that life isn't always safe. Thanks to my dad, though, he didn't overprotect me, and that allowed me to learn to navigate life on my own. It's been a tough journey, but it's also taught me valuable lessons about resilience and independence. Well, there's so much more to discuss on this topic, my friends. I highly recommend reading the book for a deeper dive. Also, be sure to check out the comments on the videos I used for this content. You can find the links in the description. It's incredibly valuable to read about the experiences of people who've faced similar problems. Please leave your comments to help me improve, and I'll see you in the next part of this chapter.